Well, good morning. Good morning. I always like to ask is the fresh rest. You want to make sure they'll get the bad shot, but you want to make sure they could get the good shot, right? All right, y'all all ready? All right, well, good morning, everyone. What an exciting week. Oh, I mean, it doesn't even matter if you don't even, not even a big football fan. I mean, Super Bowl weekend's just, and Super Bowl in Louisiana equals a festival, right? Which is what we do all the time. So this is a great way to start an unbelievable Super Bowl week. I want to thank James Sutton, Pat Smith, Deborah Barge, John Deisman, Joyce Larkin, Taylor Williams, and Tristan Manthey, of the Louisiana Sports Hall of Fame, for being here today. And of course, I want to take a moment to welcome our NFL Hall of Famers. Alan, I did not realize that you went to school at John Curtis. I mean, what an unbelievable New Orleans connection. And I think you got there, but you ended up ultimately in high school in Texas. No, listen, it's been a bad team. Here we reverse it, right? And then of course he's an LSU guy, right? And of course he gets to sit next to another LSU alum, Kevin. Hey, Kevin, do you think me and you are the only ones that know what a Wampus cat is?
Probably not for many others.
Yeah. Because he played ball in Leesville. How you like that? I played over in St. Martin. I'm not as good as you.
I think I'll beat us in the playoffs more.
Yeah, well, double that against me, right? He may get the mic next, but I think it's extremely neat to have two LSU alum here who are Hall of Famers. They get to sit by an A&M guy. It's so kind of so it's all right, But that's why we have you. You just want to make y'all feel important here in Texas. Understand it. LSU still a center of the universe in the SEC, at least for us. But what an honor to have you as well. I mean, look, for a fellow like me when I was a child, watch you run Tony Dorsett down. Remember that? Huh? Yeah. But I think it's incredibly fitting to have athletes of this caliber who are Hall of Famers to be here today, who are doing an event that says this is not about us, this is not about the NFL, this is not about the sport. It's really about the people who work to protect us each and every day, the people who work to mend us each and every day. And I also think it's incredibly fitting when we think about the time that we're in. When we think about the tragedy that befell this city on New Year's morning. And I said this at an NFL press conference when we started at the beginning of this week, that I don't know if there is another city that is capable of lifting those who are reeling from this tragedy up while supporting the men and women in uniform, and then turning around and letting America and the world know that, you know what, at the end of the day, everything is okay, and we don't bow to fear, we don't kneel to danger, we continue to stand strong, and that's the city of New Orleans. And this city, and this event is meant to continue to honor the fallen, and to continue to support those families, and to continue to recognize, again, like I said, all of those who protect us and mend us up. And so I just want to call and recognize them out here, and then each of y'all have to give a little bit about it. If y'all would stand up so we can give them a round of applause. But I want to start off recognizing Jacob Jordan with NOPD. And Jacob represents not only himself and you have the three officers who were there on that tragic morning, who had to make the extreme call to make sure that they defended the innocent, to eliminate the terror that was out there, to eliminate the particular threat, but recognize that while others were fleeing from danger, because that's what you're supposed to do, they were running towards it. And so what you have in front of you is the ultimate human being who will put the ultimate sacrifice on the line for the betterment of this community. And I can tell you, each one of these men and women who are sitting here today have the DNA, there's a fabric in their body since they were born that they were meant to serve. And so, Jacob, thank you so much for what you did. And then Josh Smith. Josh Smith is with the Department of Corrections. Josh was working a security detail that night. And you know, this city has come a long way. I don't know if y'all know this, but a couple of years ago, this city was one of the most dangerous cities in the world. And these folks, and many people have been working day in and day out to make our streets safe in the city of New Orleans. And we put together an unbelievable task force. So we brought in agencies from all over the state to work alongside NOPD to make our streets safe. And so that morning, we had various state agencies, and the Department of Corrections, Probation and Parole was one of them. And he again was one of those who ran towards the gunfire rather than away from the gunfire. You said, and your team, right? And he's here representing not only himself, but the Probation and Parole team that was there. How many of them?
6 of them.
6 of them on there. And so, Josh, thank you so much. Really appreciate it. And then Lieutenant Philip Hanks. Philip has served as the statewide lieutenant for Louisiana Police SWAT and the Mobile Field Force. And this gentleman has a tremendous amount of weight on his shoulders. He holds his shoulders a lot better than the weight that's placed on it. But he was also there that morning and supervised, making sure that when or as the tragedy started to unfold, I mean, you can just think about the chaos that was ensuing. It takes people just like Philip to be able to bring order out of that particular chaos, to make sure that they support Jacob and Josh and those that are running towards the fire. And so Lieutenant Phillips today represents the Louisiana State Police and all of those that work on that day to make our streets safer and to triage the situation, make sure. And it was not only, once the threat was eliminated, there were people that had to be tended to. People had needed to be taken to the hospital. People who were looking for people. Like it was ultimate care. So Philip, thank you so much. And Superintendent Roman Nelson. He represents a great fire department here in the city of New Orleans, and sometimes we forget to overlook that one of the things that terrorists did before he left in a way to try to distract the activity or this plot was to set the house on fire. And thanks to the New Orleans Fire Department, they recognized that when they went to the house, that it just wasn't something right. And he called ATF, right? Am I right?
Yeah, my fire inspector noticed the incendiary devices in the service.
Yeah, he knew something wasn't right. They called ATF, and then they found IEDs inside of the house, which started to help us tie together some of these things. So again, thank you for and then Chief Bill Solomon, is that right?
Yes.
That's right. Chief Solomon was on duty in the French Quarter that night for the New Year's Eve festivities, and he immediately pivoted to emergency medical care. Because without him and his team, we can't get all of those who are injured to the hospital. And again, I mean, you really have to just take a moment to just think through chaos and the ability that these men and women to be able to build order out of that particular chaos. And him and his team work consistently throughout the day to ensure that those that needed medical attention got that medical attention. And so we thank you as well. And then finally, Jamie Wolf. Jamie, you were in emergency room? Yeah. In emergency room at UMC that morning. And it's probably an event she practiced for many, many times and hope she never, ever had to see. But what her and her colleagues did that morning, and throughout the rest of the day, and quite frankly, throughout the rest of the week, caring for those that were injured, making sure that the amount of casualties did not go up, that we were able to keep that number down so that we can return people to their families. So Jamie's here today representing the University Medical Center. And so what you have here are people who protect us and those that make us. Thank you for that. And so real quickly, on behalf of the people of Louisiana Nation, I want to thank the NFL. I want to thank our Hall of Famers. I want to thank A&M. I never would have an opportunity as a kid. Somebody told me that I felt like you can just talk to you. You know, I didn't think it told me I was crazy. So, you know, get a little rib in here, but just great to have you all. I mean, what y'all do to support men and women in uniform, whether it be the military, police, firemen, our medics, I just can't say enough. Those are people who put it on our line every day for us. They make our events safe as well. And so I want to thank you. So before I turn it off to James Stockman, President and CEO of Louisiana Healthcare, again, I would like to welcome the world to New Orleans and to Louisiana for what is going to be one of the greatest Super Bowls in the history of this country. Thank you so very much.
Thank you very much, Governor. Welcome, everybody. What a great day to be in New Orleans. The governor dialed up some great weather for us. I think just a few weeks ago, I was doing snow angels in my front and backyard several times. So it was great weather and great to have everybody here. As the governor mentioned, I'm Jamie Slotman. I'm the CEO of Louisiana Healthcare Connections, part of Centene Corporation. We are very pleased to be here. We have a great partnership with the Hall of Fame, and thank you folks for being here. We're really here to talk about and help these folks and salute to service, and I promise that I will be brief. Louisiana Healthcare Connections, we have 750 employees statewide. We serve with all of our products the healthcare needs of over 500,000 Louisianians. If you see an orange fleur-de-lis, that's us. So we're glad to be of service to people here. Real quickly on healthcare, when you listen to what these folks have done, it's incredible. When you think about healthcare, a lot of times people think, well, that's access to the doctor, the ability to pick up your prescription. But healthcare is a lot more. There's fundamental pillars and foundations that you may not think about. It's access to clean water, it's access to food. We have a lot of food insecurity. But another one is safety, because people have to be able to, one, get to their school bus, walk down the street, feel safe, go to work and feel safe. It's a foundation because that keeps people healthy. So I don't know if you folks realize or not the impact you have on basic health of people. It's a great thing. And a couple of these folks look really familiar. You may have pulled me over one time a few years ago, maybe. But with that, I want to thank you all. It's great to be here with everybody and enjoy it. And I will say one quick note. I actually did attend the Sugar Bowl afterwards, the tragic event, and I never felt safer. So thank you all very much for everything. Last thing I will say, I do want to personally thank the governor for his lifelong dedication to service for the first responders, to safety. And he just talked about his prom initiative and making this city safe again. I can personally tell you, my wife and I are coming back to New Orleans quite a bit now. So Governor, thank you for your dedication to make this all safe. Thank you.
Good morning. I'm Pat Linda Smith, Executive Vice President of Partnerships at the Pro Football Hall of Fame. And I just wanted to thank everyone this morning for being here. And on behalf of the Pro Football Hall of Fame, where we honor the greatest of the game of football, it is our honor to salute and thank our first responders who have been there for the city of New Orleans, as the governor said, and to share with you our appreciation for what you do. Our Hall of Famers 3 years ago changed our mission statement. The first line said, to honor the heroes of the game. And they were the first to step up and say, we are not the heroes. It's our first responders, it's our military, it's the people that are doing good in our communities. So we're proud to be here this morning to recognize you. It's an incredibly powerful moment, even to see you folks. And I have the opportunity to bring 3 of our Hall of Famers here to speak to you a little bit. So let me introduce them again. The governor did a great job, but just coined as known as the fastest man in the NFL. I think he probably thinks he still is. Played 20 seasons in Washington and intercepted 19 consecutive seasons, intercepted a pass, which is an NFL record. Darryl Green. Our second Hall of Famer is, and then you can switch words.
You're so fast.
Kevin Mawai, I think that you all know that he is a former LSU Tiger, and he played in 241 games. He is an offensive lineman, so he was pivotal in really the success of his team. So let me introduce Kevin Mawai. And another LSU Tiger and former player in the Pittsburgh Steelers is Alan Faneca, who played for 12 seasons in the NFL and really was pivotal in the play calling and the anchor of the offensive line. Alan, get. Again, you can join us up here and you can show your
Now?
Yeah, now it's time. Real quick.
Oh my gosh, thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Pat.
Governor, thank you. I like you and Jamie because you guys are short, like me.
Hey.
Hey,
Okay.
hey, I am too.
Okay.
I don't miss big guys. I spend my life around those guys.
We're not short, they're just tall.
Well, you can go with that too. Good morning, everybody. I'm just truly privileged to be here. I was thinking as the governor was speaking, it was about, I guess, 10 years ago. We were here. We have through the Centene Corporation, the parent company of the Louisiana Health Plan, a work that's called Strong Youth, Strong Communities, and we travel around the country dealing with 13 and 18-year-olds. And we were here, and a lady named Joyce Larkin was in the crowd there. We had dinner after we had finished, and she said, "Hey, what do you think about us connecting with the NFL?" I said, "No, let's connect with the Hall of Fame." And we flew to the Hall of Fame within some weeks after that. And all of this was birth. I really didn't think about that until you spoke. But something else you said, Governor, on that morning, where the tragedy took place, you said something that caught my attention. My 26-year-old nephew walked out of a bar in Houston, Texas that morning in a car. Took his life. I apologize, but I didn't even, when you said that, I just thought tragedy hit our family that same day. I understand the enormous tragedy that took place. Because what it is it's human beings, they're mamas and daddies of these people, and husbands and wives, brothers and sisters. And this morning, when the dust cleared, it wasn't me or you. It was these people and their compadres, their comrades. It was a scene that I wasn't there, but some people were there, and I consider it an extraordinary privilege to be here with you all today. We take what we have been able to do. I was in the 20 years in the NFL. But it's a childhood game. And in America and indeed the world, it gives us access. We get to walk in. It gives us resources. It gives us influence. And if we will take advantage of it in a proper way, we can try to make our life, our world, our people better. And that's humbly what we're here today. We're simply but sincerely here to salute you for your extraordinary service to your fellow men and women, to your city, to your state, to your country. And we take that soberly and humbly serious. It is a joy to come here and be with you. It is a joy that I played a kid's game and I get to wear this that represents the highest level of accomplishment in that business. But yet, we get to take that and utilize it to benefit others. I am personally, in 2025, next 9 days from now, I'll be 65 years old. Don't get mad. Don't let the smoke taste fool you. And I'll be married faithfully for 40 years. And in 2025. And I'm grateful and I'm humbled to be alive. Humbled to have been a part of football. Humbled to have the influence that I have. And I'm humbled to be able to stand with people like you all. They talk about we went to war. We did not go to war. We played a kid's game. There are people that go to war every day. War on the streets, war in military, in hospitals, in operation rooms, in moments like that. That's why we're here, to just say a moment to your city that we appreciate the service of these folks. So I want to just say thank you to each one. So Kevin, he can actually come up next. Mr. Kevin Mawab. LSU.
Good morning, everybody. Just want to thank you guys for being here. Joyce for having us, Centene bringing us to Governor Landry for allowing us to intrude on your party. This is pretty awesome to be here. For kids who grew up in Leesville, Louisiana, I say that loosely because I moved there when I was 13. To be standing here before a crowd going in the Super Bowl, which a game I never played in, so that was totally disappointing. But you got to remember, I was at LSU during the Curly Hallman era, so we didn't win any games while I was there. So, in spite of all that, I went on and had great success in the NFL, and it's funny and it's actually humbling for me. Daryl talked about the humility that comes with his jacket, and I'm always reminded when I'm around him. There's a quick story. We were coaching an all-star game, and he was the head coach. I was offensive line coach, and everybody stood around the room. You had to introduce yourself, what position you're coaching, history in the NFL, and I was not in the Hall of Fame yet. And I said, my name's Kevin Mawai. I've been in the NFL 16 years, and I'm a semifinalist for the Hall of Fame. The ego got to me, but Daryl is one of the most humble human beings I've ever been around, and really the first guy I ever tracked his draft all the way through his career. 11 years later, I got drafted in the NFL and got to play against him a couple times. But he comes around, my name's Daryl Green. I've been in the NFL 20 years. And he holds his ring out in front of all the players that I am a Hall of Famer. So kind of put me in my place. But so I always remember that with Daryl. I joke around about it, but there's a humility that comes with wearing the jacket. There's a responsibility that comes with it. And part of it is to share people with your experiences and how you got to be at the success level that we have been. It doesn't come without hard work. It doesn't come without people that are in your background and in your corner that helps you out. My parents are a big influence in my life. And so for today, we're here to honor the heroes, the first responders and stuff like that. My dad was a sergeant in the Army, retired after 23 years in the military. He joined the military in 1963. It was his way to get off the island. He came from Hawaii, and he joined the military during the Vietnam era, but it was also because he wanted to serve his country and make the world a better place for others that came after him. He had a choice to go wartime. He volunteered to go because he knew that it would afford somebody the lifestyle that we have grown up with, that we know now, the freedom that I have, my choices that I make, to make the world a better place. He gave of himself and put himself on the line so that others would have a better life for them. And so for that, a lot of what I've done and what I've become is because of my dad. It's the same reason that airmen, Marines, Navy personnel, same reason why police officers and firefighters and all those in the EMS services, the way they do it, they don't do it for themselves, they do it for others. It's in service to one another. to make their communities better, to make their nation better, to make us a better community. New Orleans there's no greater place than New Orleans to exemplify that. I remember in 2005, Katrina hit New Orleans. Nothing brought the state together like New Orleans did. The resiliency of this city and how they bounced back is greater now, more vivacious than it ever has been. And to have a small part in my community church to help build this place back up. I know Alan's from this area. It's a very humbling thing to say that it was never because of football players, it's because of all the first responders. They're the ones that run to the fire. They're the ones that run to the gun shops. They're the ones that run to the injured and the hurt in the war zones. They're the ones who do it all so that somebody else can have a better life. And so for that, I want to say thank you to our first responders that are here and all those that might be hearing this, that it's a service of sacrifice. The Bible says in John, it says, there's no greater love than to lay your life down for one another, for your friends. And that's what you got to do every day. That's what our soldiers do. That's what our military personnel do. And that's what my dad did for 23 years. So I'm here to say thank you very much for your service. Thank you for your sacrifices that you made, not just for yourselves personally, but your families. The military personnel goes away for wartime. They go off 6 months at a time, 8 months, 12 months, a year, whatever. You guys put your belt on, put your gun on, go out in the fire, and you don't know if you're going to come back. So I just want to thank you guys for that service, and thank you to your families for that. And so with that, I just want to say on behalf of myself, the Hall of Famers, state of Louisiana, thank you guys for your service, and thank you for all our military personnel, retired and not, that are in this room today. Appreciate you guys.
What an honor to be here today. These fine gentlemen, lovely lady representing everything that they've done for the city in our time of need. It's an honor to be here, to be a part of this, and to help kick off the celebration for this year's Super Bowl. We're here today with Salute for Service with Cyntian, Louisiana Healthcare Connections, and the Pro Football Hall of Fame to honor all servicemen, retirees, active service duties, law enforcement, firemen, medical professionals, and everybody involved in being a first responder. We're here to honor them. Born and raised in New Orleans, I've seen what these gentlemen and everyone who's come before them have been a part of and done for this city firsthand, protecting myself, my family, and our community. Amazing to see what these people do, running into the fire, running into the bullets, protecting us, being there when we need them. And it's an honor to get to stand up here and actually acknowledge that. One of the greatest things, people always ask me about going into the Hall of Fame. What was the greatest thing that you remember? The knock, the speech, everything. And for me personally, it was the ability to thank people, to pull a coach aside, a friend, an aunt or an uncle, my parents, and tell them what they meant to me on my journey. And maybe they didn't know it. Maybe it wasn't unspoken. It was unspoken maybe. But the ability to speak it and put it into words and to honor them, like we're honoring these people today, and everybody that works alongside of them is something special. New Orleans has faced many adversities, hurricanes, snow. Whoever thought we'd be saying that? To large events like this, the Super Bowl, events that are national security threats, where we need these fine gentlemen to protect us. We know how to be prepared in Louisiana and how to come prepared to help and save. Through all these tough times, we find ways to come together, right? We always say that strength comes through tough times. We find each other. And watching these fine men and women do what they do, we see how that comes into action and what they're able and capable to do, and how that forces us to be there to protect our communities. And through that, we're just ever grateful for you and what y'all have done, and want to say thank you. Thank you for having us.
Come on up, guys. Governor, this is for you, sir. The Football Hall of Fame. We are privileged to be with you. You talked about the greatest game ever. You talked about the growth of the city. I just think that I was looking and researching this city, and I know a lot of guys from this city. This is a special city. I never met you before, but I just appreciate this city. I appreciate this is one of the first places we got started trying to work with you. You talked about how your community has changed, safety, and so forth. So I'm honored to join with my teammates here, give you an autograph ball from the Pro Football Hall of Famers and all of us inside. Thank you for having us here.
Thank you. We will proudly display this in the memory of the service of all of those that y'all supported. Certainly, we thank you. You guys are welcome anytime we can.
All right.
How about that?
Thank you. The meal's on you.
Deals on me.
We gonna keep it. We gonna
I'm gonna eat. We're gonna have a good time. Y'all want to come take? You want to take a picture? Y'all want to take a picture?
Yeah, we'll take a big group photo.
All right.
Yeah, y'all come close.
Here, I got.
Oh.
Tall people, short people, short people, tall people, yeah.
6'6", get over there.
Don't let it go, come on, Jake. Yeah. It's okay if you don't get this.
Final stop.
I don't know why it's-
Yeah, right.
Thank you.
We got it.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Yes, sir.
It's at the end.
Yeah.
It takes over 40 gallons of sap to make just one jug of real maple syrup. That's why one of these bottles can cost $10. And grocery stores are flooded with imitation syrups that don't have any maple sap at all. In fact, tons of expensive foods we love eating might not be the real thing, including wasabi, vanilla, and truffle oil.
The main reason why this happens is